So yes, we did a thing. Hey, Omar did a thing. I don't know if you know this, but Omar Khan did a thing yesterday. Okay, and the thing was, he traded for Allen Robinson. Okay, in terms of the details for the trade, I will pull that up for you really quick. Ultimately, man, we swapped 7th round draft picks with the Rams. They gave us theirs, we gave them one of ours, and he had $10 million remaining in guaranteed money this season. The Rams are going to take on 5 of that. We'll take on the remaining 5. So essentially, for the deal, you swapped 7 round picks and you took up, $5 million for Allen Robinson. And in terms of Allen Robinson, let's see how many years and how many games, so we can give the direct breakdown for him. But came into the league as a 2nd round draft pick in 2014 to the Jags out of Penn State. We are, for all those folks out there. And since then, man, has played in a ton of games, man. This will be his 10th season coming up, man. And former Pro Bowler as well. Had that Pro Bowl, I think it was should have been year 3, if I remember correctly. Pull that up.
Probably with
year
the
2.
Jags.
Yeah, it was year 2 with the Jags. He had a Pro Bowl. Yep.
Bortles, unreal fantasy football season. Bunch of garbage time.
And in terms of his career, been over the 1,000-yard receiving mark 3 times. Did it in 15, the Pro Bowl season, with 1,400 receiving yards. Did it again in 19 with the Chicago Bears. We had 1,100 receiving yards, and then did it in 20 with the Bears again, where he went back-to-back, 1,250 for that one. In terms of touchdowns, I mean, student scored a ton of touchdowns. I think it was in his career, should be 43. Yeah, 43 touchdowns in his career, over 6,500 receiving yards, ton of catches. I mean, super productive player when he's been healthy. That's been the big thing with him. You look at his tape the past 2 years, a little bit up and down, but not always on him. To me, man, I think he can win outside as an outside receiver. You can have him in the slot. He has some success in there, productivity in there. Does a really good job of beating press off the line of scrimmage. And this is more so just talking about him now, like his last year's tape versus the Rams, not what he's done, a while ago, but just directly off what he did last year. I thought that he could consistently beat man-to-man press. Did a good job in terms of getting a step on receivers. I don't feel like he was going to separate it. Like when you're down the field and he's getting 10-yard separation, he's not that type. But in terms of once he gets that upfield shoulder on you, he's the type that does do a really good job of getting 2 hands on that football, located and tracking it down the field. In terms of his route run, I think he does a really good job. He's more of a smooth style route runner than think of a AB type where it's super explosive, hard cuts. He's more so just boom, boom. He's going to get you the footwork. He's going to give you the wiggle with his shoulders. Nice head movement to sell some of the moves to create a separation. Really good with that. Honestly, I thought his numbers should have been a lot better prior to his injury, but that wasn't because of him. Matthew Stafford was in and out of the lineup, and that did have a negative effect on him. So it would still be times where, he's having success in terms of his route running. But when Matthew Stafford was not out there, the one game, I forgot, it was because it wasn't Baker. It was just this dude was number 19, bro.
And was Wofford out there again?
Yeah. And it was just it looked like they was running just the college joint. You know what I mean? We're going to zone read you. If I can get you a little quick little out. And that was, what they were trying to have the offense look like. That's not Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson's a dude let him run a route, let him cook you up. So that was more so why I thought his numbers were a little bit down the past 2 seasons. And also, I will say this with Stafford. It wasn't necessarily that I didn't think that Stafford and him didn't click, because I feel like they did. I just feel like Stafford wasn't forcing it to him. When I watch him, I'm it was times where he's open to me, and I'm just Stafford's just not trying to just force him a ton of targets.
And Stafford wasn't even good last year either. He was hurt while playing.
But that's the thing. I just feel like it's one of those scenarios where you get him more opportunities. I do think he still has a lot more production available for him, even though his past 2 seasons statistically doesn't reflect that. That's why I was make sure you check that tape. That tape will tell you a little bit better of that story, because I know it's going to be some people out there that try to naysay that part of it.
But he's still you got to think the Rams QB situation last year, and he was hurt. He didn't play a full season. I think if you just take his numbers from last year and he played full 17 games. He ends up with like 500 or something. That's still with weird quarterback play.
Yeah.
And then the Bears, wasn't that Justin Fields' first year? Combo of like him and Dalton. I think he didn't even finish that season out either. Now, injuries are a part of it. You got to be available and stuff. But that's been a knock on him his whole career. If he could stay healthy, he's put up numbers. Now, obviously, we're a little bit more removed from his prime years with the Bears and also that Jaguar season. He's still 30. We don't even need him to be wide receiver one. We got Pickens and Deontay.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, too, is this, man, because I did see people bring up, do you trade Deontay now that you have Allen Robinson? To me, the answer is no.
We couldn't wait.
Yeah, to me, the answer is no. I'm just going to throw it out there, man. Allen Robinson, like I said, when he's healthy, he has all the talent in the world. But he has to stay healthy, man.
Couldn't wait 24 hours.
Yeah, he has to stay healthy, man. I just want to throw that out there. He has to stay healthy. But no, he's a really good player. The reason why I say you don't get rid of Deontay is because when you watch Allen, how he wins his releases, how he wins in terms of getting open, it's still, I look at his open almost similar to more George Pickens style open, whereas when I think of Deontay, it's more so, like I said, like you're just looking and can physically see anybody knows this is like regular open, not just NFL open. And that's the one thing, like I said, why I wouldn't be so amped to move on from Deontay just yet while you have a young Kenny Pickett, because you still want him to be able to have that type of safety blanket that we anticipate him being a lot better, a lot more competitive on some of these 50-50 throws, or even throwing guys open or just throwing tight window throws. But you still don't want him to feel like every single throw has to be a tight window throw. Every single throw has to be a 50-50 ball, because if that's the case, let's be real. They're 50-50 for a reason. They're a tight window for a reason. The chances of bad things happening are increasing. Deontay helps minimize that. Deontay helps give him a safety blanket, a easy read, easy option. If I need to just get out of something, that's what Deontay provides. And until we see somebody else provide that on a consistent basis while being healthy, because Deontay don't miss a ton of time either. If we being real, he's available. So with that, until we truly have that replaced, or Kenny has proven in a full season that he doesn't need another guy that can just get open. He can throw these dudes open for 4 quarters, week in and week out. Until we feel like that, I feel like you keep Deontay because it only helps this offense. But bringing in an Allen Robinson on this type of deal, I mean, it's a steal. It's low risk, high reward. I don't want to say it's a steal just because we don't know if he's going to stay healthy. And if he doesn't stay healthy, then you're just like, all right, I got a dope player, but he's not helping us. But as long as he stays healthy on paper, man, this does like a steal. Because, like, you're comparing Allen Robinson to any of these dudes coming out in the draft, we're going to feel good about Allen Robinson. Not just because of where he's at currently, but the track record. We've seen him do this at this level for a long time and at multiple locations with different quarterbacks. So you feel really good about what he brings.
Yeah, and it's only $5 million. You're not spending any big draft capital on him, like any big investments.
You didn't lose a pick either.
Right, that's because right. You just swapped 7th round picks. Who gives a crap about that?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could care less. And to piggyback off of what you're talking about with Deontay, I said this in the past, maybe like a month or so ago. I just feel like you continue to build with what you were doing late last season, and part of that was the Kenny Pickett and Deontay connection, and how they continued to grow. They continued to build rapport. They went through tough games, through tough moments, and then came out successfully. All that stuff matters. That relationship building,
adversity, man.
Right, exactly. And then you combine them working in the off season, and it's not killing us. Omar Khan has worked these numbers. It's not like we have to get rid of this $18 million cap hit. Or I don't even know if it might be 16, 17, whatever the cap hit is this year. That's the reason everyone wants to trade him is, get this off the books. Let's let's bring in an Addison or whatnot. Yeah. We can afford it right now because Deontay's contract isn't that bad long term, because after this year he could turn into a cap casualty for us. We could cut him and we'd save like $10 million. I'm not saying the Steelers are going to do that necessarily,
but you have the flexibility.
But it's an option. Yeah, you start to have more flexibility. Maybe we restructure him or extend him or whatever, make the contract better. I don't know, but we don't have to rush into anything right now. Why can't we just keep all 3 of those receivers?
To me, I like this option a little bit better than we was doing the Claypool option. We tried that 3, and it was like the Claypool one it was too similar to Pickens. It didn't fit what we were trying to accomplish. At least I feel like Allen, if we're talking about that third guy, it's like, man, this can give you a little bit of best of both worlds. We know it could cook from the slot. We know it has outside potential as well, based on what it's already shown at this level.
Good blocking. I was seeing some metrics out there. He's like 9th best receiver blocker.
The thing is this, man. I don't think that he's overly enthused about it when I watch him on tape, but he understands it's a requirement for the position. And that's what you need. I don't need you to be over the hills in love with blocking as a receiver, but I do need you to get 2 hands on this DB's chest and get your butt in the hole, so that way the ball is on this side, your butt's here, your man's here, and when you watch him on tape, he does that.
He might be a little bit more cool with it with the Steelers if we're winning ball.
No, but I'm talking about even last year. It's like, no, he blocks. What I mean is this, though. It's like, think of when Juju blocks somebody. Like, Juju going, man, I done rock something. You know what I mean? Or when Hans, like, he takes pride. Like, yo, this is my thing.
Sure.
All I'm saying is he ain't doing it like that. He don't care. Like,
he ain't going to do the extra.
Right. But he going to do his job. Like, you're not going to worry about we can't run to the perimeter because this guy can't get a block. Remember we talked about the running game 2 years ago and we're like, it's not just Najee. It's not just the O-line. These receivers got to hold a block because every time we go to the perimeter, they over here just, all right. And dudes are coming up and hitting them. He's not going to do that. He's going to get hands on you. He's going to get that body in where it's supposed to be. And that's the bare, like, to me, I'm like, yo, that's varsity. I don't need you to go over there and be moving these people off the line. I don't need you to be an overachiever, but I need varsity. He does give you varsity. And then he has some alternatives, man, where he'll just, if he doesn't want to get hands on a guy, he'll give you the release. You know what I mean? Just get the guy running with him and stuff like that. So he has multiple ways to make sure that his guy isn't impacting the play in the run game, which is good. Man, shout out to you picking that up too, bro. I see you, man.
It's just a no-brainer move because that was one of the things I'm wondering. It's like, okay, how do we utilize him? Because we were talking about needing a slot receiver. We needed a wide receiver 3, but we need a guy that can be comfortable in the slot. And we know a lot of these guys coming out in the draft can do that.
Yep.
Robinson, in my opinion, he was always viewed more of as an outside guy throughout his wole career. But then I'm looking at some of these stats. Actually played a lot of slot over the last 4 or 5 years, like 30 to 40% of the time for some of these teams. So combine that with the guys that we already have and Deontay and Pickens already being outside guys. This is like a great match. But you could also put Robinson on the outside. Deontay can play slot here or there. Pickens can play slot here or there. So I think we just added versatility to the offense, 3 good top receivers, and then now you don't have to be banking on a Calvin Austin or an Anthony Miller to be the day one wide receiver 3. Oh, we're really counting on you. We need production.
Because the the Anthony Miller part, it's like, man, it's almost 2 years since we've seen him like play in stadium and give us productivity. Calvin Austin, we said, bro, this is a rookie that was fresh out of college that just got hurt, didn't even get a chance to even play in a preseason game. So to go into a regular season or go into an off season and say these are the guys that we're willing to bet the season on, so to speak, it's like, man, that doesn't sit well with football people like that. But the Allen Robinson, it's a clear, I have a guy, but I didn't invest so much that it kills the Calvin Austin development or it makes Anthony Miller irrelevant in a competition. It doesn't do either one of those things. They still have a chance to emerge. They still have a chance to develop a role. But we just know you're going to have to beat out somebody that is good. We're not going to just have you, can the injured guy beat out the rookie that was injured, or can the rookie that was injured beat out the other guy that was injured for a year or 2 years? I mean, like, it's just a different type of pedigree, different type of competition that's going to come with that. It's like I said, for me, I do like that a lot, man.
And automatically, based off his floor these last 2 years, and that floor, we talk about 400 with the Bears and then 300 something with the Rams. And that's, again, not playing in 17 games. So honestly, extrapolate that over a full regular season, that's like 500 yards. If he gives us that, that's good for a third receiver in this offense. But I think he could do more if he just stays healthy. Yeah. Maybe get up to 700, 800, 900 yards. That'd be awesome.
Those players, he's like that fringe player right now to me. Fringe in the sense of this, good enough where you see the talent that it makes you think you want to force feed it. You want to because the way it moves still when it's healthy, when it's out there, it's like, bro, this could be 1,000-yarder. You get it. And it's like, man, you're open. If I feed you, like, I think you are capable of that. But then at the same time, I'm like, you don't want to overuse it to that point because of all the injury stuff that we've talked about. You know what I mean? So I'm just like the back and forth with it. I'm like, I'm excited, but I'm also like cautious because, it's a ton of good with him. a ton of good. Like we can sit up here and rave. And that's the exciting
Veteran
part.
leadership
Yeah.
too. He'll bring.
I'm like, it's all these different things, but my big like concern is just like, all right, he was available to us for a reason. We know the past 2 years there have been optimism. Shoot, we was optimistic about him going to LA. We was like, yo, they lost Odell, but they get Allen Robinson. He should cook. I picked him up in fantasy early on.
Some people said the Steelers were actually interested last year, which is crazy to me considering we had Claypool, Pickens. Yeah. Although I guess we would have been interested
it was beforehand.
Before the draft. You're right. He would have been our third guy. Maybe we wouldn't have drafted Pickens. Blessing in disguise.
And to me, man,
huge blessing.
But you think though, right? Prior to that season though, when he was coming out, like he had just came off of 2 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. That was the down year. Just the year before, like he just signed with LA this past season and played this year. Prior to that was his first like down year, because up until then he had the 2 back-to-back where he went, was it 12? It was like 11 and then 1,200 back-to-back or whatever.
Yeah, you just thought, okay, thank God he's finally out of Chicago.
Right. So that's kind of how I looked at it. Not necessarily, yo, when we died, man, we this is way better. It was like, nah, man. At that time though, LA gave him,
I think everything that happened to him the last 2 years is like the perfect storm for us to capitalize on this value.
100%. 100%.
I think it's still there. People that actually know ball could say like, he can still play.
When I watch
Don't
it
just
on
look
tape,
at the stats.
it still moves, man. I watch it on tape, it gets open. I watch it on tape, it threatens DBs. I watch it on tape, it turns DBs around. I watch it on tape, it makes blocks. I watch it on tape, it runs away from people. I watch it on tape, man. Like the tape don't lie. That's the one thing, man. I'm gonna drop a film session for you. I got y'all. I already got some plays cut up, man. But yeah, he's one of the ones where it's like very, very intriguing, man. Optimistic as heck about the signing though. Because like, man, when you talk about the potential with this thing, he does still have a ton available to you, but he has to stay healthy. Man.
So we're a little over 5. We got to call TG.
You're good. TG, I was texting TG. So he said he needed like a couple minutes. So I was like, all right, just let me know when you're ready. Text you right back, and then we pop him off.
All right, how about this aspect then? No drafting receivers then, right?
Yeah, nothing before like 4, huh?
I think we're good. I'm good if we got Allen Robinson, Pickens, Deontay, Calvin Austin, Anthony Miller, and Gunner.
Yeah, Calvin Austin's my draft pick. Gunner is my like, if I need to take a flyer on something late, that's Gunner. Because Gunner has still produced for us on offense and on special teams. It just wasn't the consistency. We obviously had the turnover at the end, but it's like, no, he still gave us some quality stuff. So I'm taking the Gunner option over the wasting a 7th round pick and see if something come in here and have a little fun. Like,
if you want to get that WVU guy in like the 7th, sure, but yeah, anything other than that, I don't want to take a receiver in the first 4 rounds now.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Do the 3rd edge rusher, left tackle, cornerback, linebacker. That's it.
I'm with you, man. I am.